Just weeks ago, a report commissioned by the Catholic Church concluded that Pope Benedict mishandled abuse cases when he was an archbishop in Germany. Today, the retired pope is responding to it, asking for forgiveness, but again, denying any personal wrongdoing. In his two-page letter released by the Vatican, Benedict began by thanking his legal team for fighting to maintain his innocence. He dedicated the rest of his letter to the importance of confession, acknowledging that he will pass away soon and be judged by God. He prayed he would be forgiven for shortcomings and asked this of victim survivors. "I can only express to all the victims of sexual abuse my profound shame, my deep sorrow, and my heartfelt request for forgiveness. I have had great responsibilities in the Catholic Church. All the greater is my pain for the abuses and the errors that occurred in those different places during the time of my mandate. Each individual case of sexual abuse is appalling and irreparable. The victims of sexual abuse have my deepest sympathy, and I feel great sorrow for each individual case." Meanwhile, the Vatican has already strongly defended Benedict's record in the aftermath of that Munich abuse report, pointing out that he was the first pope in history to meet with victims. Benedict also issued strong norms to punish priests. During the final 2 years of his pontificate, he laicized nearly 400 priests for abuse. For a deeper analysis of Pope Emeritus Benedict's letter, we're joined now by John Allen, editor at Crux. And John, in a recent article, you wrote that Benedict's response didn't follow the, quote, bishop's playbook, and instead of not engaging, he came forward with a robust head-on approach. So does this now set a standard for Catholic bishops on how to respond to accusations like this?
I doubt it very much, Christine. And the reality is the diocesan bishops are much closer to public opinion than a retired pope. A diocesan bishop lives in the place where a scandal is happening. He sees the people there every day. This Pope Emeritus, anyway, lives in a rehabbed convent on the grounds of the Vatican and sees only whom he wants to see. I don't necessarily think it sets a precedent for future Pope Emeriti.
So why do you think it was important for Benedict to respond in this way?
Well, first of all, Benedict's watchword is and always has been truth. And I think he and his advisors are convinced that the accusations that pertain to his brief period as the Archbishop of Munich between 1977 and 1982 are simply false. They are not true in their eyes. And being a man of truth, I think it was important to Benedict to say that out loud. I think also it is important to understand that from Pope Benedict's point of view, the Church's reform on the fight against child sexual abuse really began in his papacy. He believes himself to have worked tirelessly, both at the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith and also as Pope, to promote that reform. Remember, that this is a pope who, among other things, laicized more than 400 Catholic priests for acts of child sexual abuse. And I think, therefore, this is core to his own understanding of his legacy, and he felt it was important to try to put the record straight.
You wrote a book on Benedict when it comes to his actions on combating abuse. How strong do you think he was?
Well, I mean, we only have two popes to measure by, right? I mean, John Paul II was too old and too frail to do much substantive towards the end of his papacy, other than turning the whole thing over to then Cardinal Ratzinger. But I certainly think that measured against the evidence we have, Pope Benedict was remarkably strong. I think he established the American zero tolerance policy at the beginning, and in essence, universalized it at the level of the global church. He put in place aggressive measures for expediting cases in order to get abusers out of the priesthood as soon as humanly possible. Made it abundantly clear he simply didn't have any patience for it. Now, and also was the first pope to meet with victims, the first pope to apologize for the abuse scandals. So, whether all that was enough, that's something for historians and so on to debate. But I don't think there's any serious question the Pope Benedict committed himself wholeheartedly to the fight against clerical sexual abuse.
One last question really quickly. So Pope Benedict asked for forgiveness, but he didn't admit to wrongdoing. So how do you think that will be received by victims of sexual abuse?
Oh, I suspect many victims will be hurt by it and won't find it nearly enough. Now, of course, seen through Benedict's eyes, if he doesn't believe he did the things this report charges him with doing, then there's nothing for him to take responsibility for. I think the apology was more global, just simply saying, "Look, I tried to do my best. I dropped the ball in 1,000 ways. May you and God forgive me."
All right, John Allen, editor at Crux, thanks for being here and for your analysis.
Of course.
Hi, I'm Christine Persichetti, anchor of Currents News. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button on this video. And if you want to see more content just like it, subscribe and click on the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, because we are putting your faith in the news.